Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another session of Dragonmark Symphony here on Natural One Media. My name is Dylan, your DM for the evening, here with my friends. And we left off in a pretty hectic little cliffhanger. As our group was out just doing some shopping, getting used to the city of Passage that they are now currently occupying. Took a real nice salamander ride. Had a lot of fun.
It was fun.
They, made their way over to the central ward so that they could stop at a few places. Ended up going into a sort of like an apothecary, like magical store called the Drowning Candle, and ran into an unexpectedly familiar face. As it seems that it is actually owned by one Victoria Skeevel, who also had an establishment back in the city of Rote, where our group first became acquainted with each other. Victoria offered to help them identify these two bottles of some sort of liquid or substance in exchange for assisting her with excising a spirit that she believed was possessing the Drowning Candle. The group sort of agreed, and she began setting up for what she felt was a required sleepover portion of exercising the spirit.
I question her.
Including kettle corn, drinks, snacks, and a strange pyramid-like device that she called a partaker. While this was happening, Set decided to try and see if they could communicate with the spirits directly. And then they rolled a natural 1. So instead what happened is that they disappeared in the blink of an eye. And when they came to, they were inside of some sort of structure with dark stone walls on either side and a seemingly limitless sky filled with stars. They were able to, thanks to some very smart work on Silva's part, they were able to establish communication with Set, where it was determined that they had somehow been transported to a deadly maze in space. Apparently one of 18. I don't know what that's about. But yeah, there's all these mazes in space that nobody ever talks about, and they're apparently each guarded by some sort of protector. And Set learned very quickly that the protector of this particular maze appears to be something called a Gorgon, though it is not quite like the Gorgons that we are familiar with in our world, that are super real and definitely exist. This one is seemingly has this like solid iron carapace to it, many legs, a head like a bowl with enormous horns that protrude up, eyes of emerald fire, and when it opens its mouth to roar, you see this sort of weave of unfurling tentacles that sort of writhe around. Set ran away, understandably so, casting invisibility on themselves using a scroll, and having Pass Without a Trace enabled. They took off in a direction, following the sound of ringing that came from the sort of our world. It was the hand, a disembodied hand in Victoria Skeevel's shop that may or may not be connected, not physically, but to a body that Set had found within the maze. And when the hand is shooketh, it rings like a bell. And Set has been able to hear this and is using it as kind of like a guiding point to follow. So that is where we had left off, with everyone sort of gathered around this pyramid-like structure, along with the crystal ball that Silva had placed on it, trying to maintain communication with Set and figure out what's going on and try to help them, while Set has taken off at a brisk pace as fast as possible, trying to get away from this Gorgon. So we're going to jump right back to Set. You run as fast as you can, and you are immediately set upon, I'm going to talk right over that. You are immediately set upon by 3 paths to take. You can keep running forward, but there's also a path to the left and to the right. So you got to tell me, which way are you going to take?
Well, I'll briefly pause and listen for the ringing, is to see if I could discern which path the ringing is coming from.
Perfect. Everyone roll initiative.
Oh, good.
Oh, God.
Great start.
What are you doing to us, man?
I got 14.
I also got 14.
18. I need to grab my new dice.
All right, so for the 2 of you that got 14,
Yes.
which of you was the last person to eat Dunkaroos?
Oh, my God.
What?
I probably would have been
what?
like 4 years old.
If you had them at 4 years old, then I probably have eaten Dunkaroos more recently.
Okay.
So in that case, you're going to go before Johannes.
I don't recall ever eating these.
You never had Dunkaroos?
We Dunkaroos?
I don't recall these at all.
Oh, all right, so we gotta bring back the tier list episodes at some point so we can talk about Dunkaroos.
You need to have them first. Are they around still?
They are, but some argue that the formula was changed and that they don't taste quite as good as they did before.
Nostalgia's talking. Got it.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot. There's surprisingly a lot to get into when it comes to Dunkaroos. Sure, but they are still around. You can still get them.
Okay. I don't recall ever having these.
But yeah. So we have our initiative settled.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What was that? 7. Okay. So Set, you are at this path. There's 3 different ways to go.
Yep.
You're waiting to hear the sound of a bell. Silva, it is your turn. We are back in the world of Corvair. We are back in the City of Passage with you, with Victoria, with Johannes. You are gathered around this crystal ball. I believe you were in possession of the hand because you literally possessed it to be your servant for the next 24 hours. So in this moment, what would you like to do?
Okay, so I'll need a small reminder on one of the last things I remember doing specifically was getting, I mean, obviously I was kind of getting Johannes, and we had initiated that, like, ringing the hand, ring the bell. So that was kind of the thing.
Yeah.
So God, I remember I had an idea. I definitely should have wrote down my thought. I had an idea for something. It was definitely a long shot, but it was just like it was a thought, which is better than I have right now.
Sure.
And so yeah, it was like the hand. Yeah, I was using the hand to try to maybe use it as like a guide, because from what Set was making it seem like, is that it comes from like a different location. My thought was kind of maybe by doing so, I could maybe lead him to the thing. that would end up bringing him closer. But then when I rang it, the thing roared. Now it's kind of like a bad thing. But it might be a necessary evil.
But you didn't hear that. You didn't hear the thing roar.
No, but that made was like, oh shit.
Yeah, as soon as I
set,
saw
I got
it,
context clues.
I was just like,
essentially.
silence.
Essentially, I got the context clues that when I rang that bell, supposedly something bad happened to Set.
Yes.
That was the context clue I was given.
That,
So at least
that was
from that
about as
respect,
much as you
yeah.
got. Like, yeah, right at the end
Which
there.
is mainly what I need. So it's, to know that if I'm gonna ring this hand again, I should have a good reason.
Wasn't it like causing like extreme mental damage to the person who rang it too? I remember I rang it once or twice, and my brain broke.
That's true. You had to make an early save there after possessing it, and then the hand tried to possess you.
Yeah.
And you were able to escape its grasp.
But I told the hand to essentially like figure itself
suppose,
out. So.
Yeah, you talked to the hand, and the hand
Get
was
in
listening.
line. So
That's right. I wanted to try to find a way to get the hand to communicate. That's why I asked.
You asked it a question.
No, I asked Victoria about, does she have anything in terms of that we like anything in terms of even just like does she can she, like if she has any knowledge of like any forms of sign language or just anything that she can think of that he owns that she could maybe use to like get this hand to help give it a way to communicate. Because it seems to have a sense of awareness. So at least I can like make it know where things are in the room.
Victoria sort of adjusts her wide-brimmed witch's hat, and she goes, well, I gotta have, I'm sure I have some book somewhere about communicating using appendages. Give me just one moment. Hang tight.
Okay. Do you know of any of those ways yourself, or?
I'll be completely honest. I never really tried talking to this hand.
I just more meant like, do you know any form of sign language?
It's complicated.
Okay.
It always is.
I'll ask with it. So when she goes,
Let me see if I can find something.
Yeah. While she would do that, then essentially I'll look to the hand and be like, I'll kind of like just go like, do you communicate? Okay, well, and one thing that I maybe was hoping would miraculously happen, it didn't start speaking to my mind or something.
It didn't say anything. No.
No. That's a lot of movement. Okay. This is a bad day to have like a very spaced out brain.
You're telling me I'm actually in space.
I don't know that there's a good day to have a spaced out brain.
No, but I didn't get home from work last night until almost midnight or past midnight, so I'm rather feeling it. I'm rather feeling it, Mr. Krabs.
I'm really feeling it.
But yeah, I don't know how to necessarily interpret what the hand did. It sounds like, in a way, it can understand. Obviously, it's understanding what I'm telling it to do or trying to configure from it, but I can't tell if it was trying to tell me no.
Would you like to make an insight check on the hand?
Yeah, that'll help.
Go ahead and do it.
Insight check.
All right,
this is one of them tabletop games. We got to roll dice sometimes.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, 15. It's either one of two things. The way it like wagged its finger. It's like, well, usually if somebody wags their finger at you, it's like a no thing. It's like a negative. connotation with that.
That's my thought. Yeah.
They also could have been trying to like point at one of you two between like you and Johannes. Like it could have been like trying to gesture towards the two of you. But you're not sure which of those two options it was definitively. It's also definitely more difficult to read without a face.
Yeah, I know. And surprised that this could be that this was a character on the Addams Family. But anyway, yes. Let's see. So I guess I'll just ask her, like, you need either of us, or
Is it 2? Yes. Is it
Yes,
nodding?
can hear you, Johannes.
I can see it, right? Yeah.
You can see the hand.
it's just
It's on the table
ta-
at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on the table
Okay.
next to my Ouija board.
Mhm.
Once
But I-
2.
Or that's Victoria's Ouija board. I have
It's called the Partaker, and it's super cool, you guys. It's definitely not a Luigi board, okay? It's way cooler than that.
a partaker.
Okay, I'll go up there.
No, you won't, because it's initiative orders.
Oh yeah.
So we cut back to Set. So Set, you wait patiently or impatiently, your call, for a bell to ring out, but you do not hear anything. You only hear the snarls and shifting of the creature behind you as it begins to travel
It's
down
one of
the
those
path
things
your
he had
way.
to do himself. I'm guessing impatiently.
Which path will you take? It's Wednesday.
The right path.
Which is?
The one on the
Oh,
right.
the literal right path. Okay.
Literal right.
All right.
Plugging that right wall, baby.
You scuttle on over to the right. You see before you, there's about like 10 feet going ahead, and then it's going to take a left turn. There's no other paths. It's just going to cut over to the left.
Okay.
You rush down, cut that left. Now you see that there's a path forward, and there's another path going to the right.
To the right it is.
You jump to the right once again. Make a dexterity saving throw.
Oh, I rolled a 19. That is +8, so 27.
Ooh. You feel it
Okay.
before you see it. And some level of intuition just like kicks in where you round that corner and your foot just goes, forces yourself down, nearly tumbling over, catch yourself as just in front of you, inches in front of you, the floor is completely gone and has given out to just like a pit that just like stretches out like a good 5 or 6 feet.
That's not good.
Inside of the pit is almost like a puddle mirroring the sky above. The pit is just filled with darkness and stars.
Cool. That's disconcerting.
It would be
Do I-
beautiful if you weren't in such a precarious situation.
Yeah, at just a quick glance, do I see much on the path past the pit?
You see that it continues down another like 15, 20 feet and then branches off again.
I'm just gonna keep going the other path then.
Okay. Yep. You scoot down the other path. Keep traveling down. You get to the end. It's a fork. One path going left, one path going right.
Left.
All right. You move to the left. The sounds of the Gorgon have diminished behind you. They're getting like softer and softer. It seems like you're making good headway and getting away from this thing. As you start off to the left. Back to the real world, Johannes.
That's me.
What would you like to do?
I guess I'll go up to the hand. It seems like it wants 2 people. Tap your finger on the table once if that's what you want me to do. Just like... Okay, I go up there. Alright, we're both here now. What can we do?
Hand just kind of moves between you and Silva, not really doing anything.
I wish this thing spoke.
Man, wouldn't that make it easier?
I'm gonna extend my hand out again. See if it grabs on.
Don't.
You extend out your hand, and Silva, the hand sort of turns to you. You can make another insight check if you'd like.
Yeah, I'll do that.
That is worse.
5.
7.
The worst rolls.
This isn't like a super crazy DC on this one, fortunately.
Thank God.
Yeah. The hand kind of turns, and Johannes, you're like, okay, well now what is it doing? It doesn't really make a lot of sense. But it almost kind of looks like a pet looking to their owner, like, is it okay if I do this? You know, it's got kind of like that thing going on of like, do I need permission from you before I do this?
Go ahead. Do whatever.
All right. If it tries doing whatever it tried doing to you earlier, I try to resist it again because I don't. Last thing I need is you also to not be in here or it to possess you for some reason. But go ahead.
It's true. But I mean, it said it wanted to.
I'll be like, go ahead.
The hand sort of reaches up with the finger, it like lightly taps on the edge of your hand. And then, like a spider, it crawls up. So that now it's like sitting in the palm. The hand is now sitting in the palm of your hand. You know, like it's like there. And as it kind of like sort of shifts itself around a little bit, and then it stops in the middle, and it goes.
Wanting to play rock paper scissors?
I think it does want that.
You hear somebody off in the distance. It's saying help. And you both turn and see Victoria Skeevel running back into view. She's clutching this like really big book that has like a bunch of like flip out charts in it. And she's just kind of like runs over with it. It's saying help. It's just kind of using your hand to complete the message.
Help.
Oh.
She kind of flips through more. How do we? Okay. She kind of sets the book down. She's like, the hand kind of like flips up, looks back at her again. She's like, did I do anything for you? Am I doing that right?
What are you trying to say?
I'm trying to say that home. We're trying to get somebody home.
It's true.
Yeah, well, I'll be like,
I mean,
we're trying to get somebody. Oh, but I guess I get part of my command thing. I was like, you can at least talk to it. As far as I've been, at least I have been able to. I guess it depends on maybe my spell is allowing me to say things to it for it to understand me. But I'd say, yeah, maybe just try speaking to it and then just read the things it does.
okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Hand. We have a friend who was just here a moment ago, and they're gone now. They're in a big spooky maze. Do you know what the maze is? Are you familiar with the maze?
The maze.
And she doesn't sound like confident at all that it's going to be able to understand what she's saying. But the hand does like turn to her, like gives her its attention. And then after a moment, it goes.
Like
And she's like, oh,
Just like
that means, that means yes. That means yes. It's saying yes.
it knows the maze.
I have an idea.
Okay. What's your idea?
Well, I'd have to wait till my turn.
Okay.
It will require me to utilize an action.
Fair.
Anything else you want to do, Johannes?
I mean, I
While
don't
his hand
think
is in
so.
your hand?
I think I'm gonna let it do its thing.
Okay. We're going to cut back to the maze. Set. You cut that left. And as you do, you hear the bellowing roar again off in the distance. And you also hear something shifting and moving. But you don't know exactly what it is or where it's coming from. It seems like it's kind of coming from all sides.
Please don't tell me the maze itself is actually shifting around me.
You cut the left, find yourself at another path. This path heads forward another like 10 feet or so. And then this is another 3-way fork. So you have a left, a right, or you can keep moving forward.
Okay.
When you reach that fork, you hear the bellowing of the Gorgon from the left path. From the right path, you hear the dripping of water or some sort of liquid, but it sounds like water droplets.
And nothing from the center path.
Nothing from the center path.
I'm going to head towards the water droplets.
No, you're not, because it's not your turn. But I want you to keep that in mind.
Get owned.
So back to the real world. Silva,
Right.
it's now your turn.
Okay. I'm gonna go to the hand. I'm gonna kind of give it the command because now I have this thought of there's the handless body that Set described in there. I'm connecting to Set, largely through my crystal ball. I'm going to tell and clearly this thing has some type of connection to that body there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tell the hand to get onto the crystal ball. And I'm going to attempt. So essentially what I'll attempt to do is when I am gaining my tales from beyond, right? I am consulting with spirits that are out there, and I'm bringing them in, and then I'm hearing this tale from them. I'm going to kind of utilize that concept, that thought, and I'm going to try to have. Usually, I just do these fey spirits that I've been around, and know of. But this time, I'm going to try to see if I can pull. I'm going to pull a quote unquote tale from the spirit of the body that was in there, because in a way, it's around in there, and I'm seeing into this realm through this in a way. So my my function is that maybe by having the hand, it will connect to it when it gets to the crystal ball.
Okay, so you're gonna have the hand
Very much
move.
like.
Let me summarize this. So you're gonna have the hand. You're gonna move the hand onto the crystal ball.
Yeah.
You are hoping that with the hand on the crystal ball, that it is going to be able to establish a connection with the body inside of the maze,
or hopefully it's spirit when it
or the spirit
communicates to me through the crystal ball.
And the
Clearly
spirit-
it has something to it. So
and the spirit will have a tail that
That's
you
how I
will
get
hopefully
it.
be able to latch onto.
well, so that's at least how I can call the spirit. I call the spirit to come tell me a tale. That's usually how it works. Like I call the spirit,
So
the
this
crystal
is-
ball, and it's like, hey, give me a tale. Essentially what I'm banking on is that when the hand is on it, kind of like when it touched Set and it tried to meld with his mind, that when it touches the ball with the spirit in it, that it tries to essentially intercept it.
Okay. So that makes more sense. For the record, the reason I was confused, and it's now been
Yes.
clarified, is that I was thinking of a literal tail, like an animal's
no.
tail.
No.
And that is why I was confused.
TALE.
TALE is what we're
No,
talking about here.
I call spirits just so that they can tell me stories.
Right.
And then I use
okay.
the magic of that story to then give bonus benefits to my friend.
Okay.
But again, I'm hoping he'll intercept it. That's my goal.
Okay.
Whether or not it'll work, different story.
So you convey this to the hand, and the hand, it turns its attention towards you when you speak to it, and you explain to it that you want it to go rest on the crystal ball and remain there. It looks at you for a moment, and then it just goes. And then it moves off of Johannes's hand back onto the table and begins to move across.
Like somewhere else?
It starts walking towards the crystal ball.
Okay.
And the partaker.
Yeah, because I bring it up to it so that it can just crawl on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it just kind of crawls over up onto it.
Now, would you, given that this is a function of my bardic inspiration, would you like me to roll a performance check?
That is what I need to figure out here. How we want to handle this. Let me check something here. So just go ahead and roll the D12 for me.
All right. The D12 for which?
Just roll the D12.
Oh, from the tails.
Yeah.
Yeah, the D12 from. 6.
6. Okay.
100.
The hand placed upon your orb, you cast this ability, searching for a tail, hoping that you'll be able to establish a connection with the spirits. And you are shocked. It actually causes you to jump a little bit as this feeling like a lightning rod shoots through you, and you immediately get a response. A voice, seemingly male, very gruff, suddenly fills your mind. I traveled far and wide. Who is this?
I am Silva. Are you the spirit locked in the labyrinth?
I am trapped. I have nowhere to go.
I look at the hand, kind of like if it's trying to connect to the spirit in the orb right now.
The hand is just like clutching onto the orb, straining heavily. You can see it's like twitching a little bit as it just sort of clutches on.
I know it's not. I can't do much else. But I have your hand. If you will be forced to just give me a tail, but try to connect to me in the real world from your soul in there.
Traveled far and wide, I did. I sought fortune. I met someone who promised me immense fortune if I went into the maze for them. At the center of the maze is a grand treasure.
I like treasure.
Silva, roll a d6 for me.
Okay. 2.
2. Does the story need to be a certain level of true, or can it be folklore?
And I mean, in technicality, yeah, it's just kind of whatever tale that the spirit, would give, right? Like it's just the spirit telling me a tale through me, so it could be as real or fake as the spirit wishes it to be.
Certainly. I was promised the gold at the center if I brought it out for him. He casts a spell on my hand. I could ring the hand, and he would be able to find me wherever I was in the maze. But when I rang the hand, he never came for me. I only heard the sound of a monster.
So fortunately, not much else I can do about this. My hope of the hand maybe being able to siphon the spirit or something is not worked out entirely. And then I'll have to inevitably kind of wait for next turn to get a communication in. But for the remainder of my turn, I can. Well, no. That part of it would have been a bonus action. So,
That was a bonus action, correct?
yeah. So
Okay.
inherently, I can use my action to utilize my Ouija board connection to set to.
Partaker. It's way less culturally insensitive.
And I will send out this tale to Set, essentially to then communicate to him about he can get to the center. There's a treasure, but the bell definitely, the hand and bell definitely summon the thing chasing him.
Okay.
But I'll give him some benefits if I can get it to go through correctly. Once the
You
connection, like works with
you send all of this out to Set, trying to connect to them. Set, you hear relayed through the ether this tale, this story of a man who was goaded into traveling into the maze and was promised riches and fortune, only to meet his end there at the hands of a beast. You also feel sort of this like warmth come over you and a fortitude that you didn't have previously. You gain, let's see here,
7.
Yeah, it should be 7.
Oh, well, that's what I rolled.
Gain 7 temp HP.
Cool.
Nice.
Your walking speed increases by 10 feet. So you're even faster now.
Cool.
And you have a +1 bonus to your AC.
Cool.
You may need that.
He's correct. Yeah.
Actually a fairly fitting buff to have gotten.
Pretty good, all things considered. Pretty good buff.
I mean, most of the buffs on the table are pretty solid.
It would have been really funny if you got the tail of the Phantom when Set has already turned themselves invisible.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, and others would not be as useful right now because he's trying to avoid being near the creature.
Right. That is definitely a help. Anything else you were doing on your turn?
All right. That'll be all I do then.
Okay. That is going to bring us back to Set. Set, you are still in the maze. You have the paths laid out before you, as I said.
It's your time.
Yeah, I'm gonna head towards the water.
Okay. You cut, heading in towards the water. You follow a short path. At the end of the path, there is a it ends, but then there's also a fork going to the right. At the end of it, you see a sort of like a bell jar, and inside of the bell jar there is what appears to be a candle. Dark blue. It is lit, and the wax is melting down underneath, dripping out underneath the bell jar, and then dripping down to the floor. And that's the bloop, bloop.
Oh, good. At least it's not going on
that you're hearing.
Of
Okay.
of a horse with rainbow hair.
So it's a blue candle burning down, and the sound of the wax dripping is what I heard.
Yes.
Oh.
Oh man. Do I notice anything like off about the candle?
It's just a candle sitting there encased
That is
in
fair.
this glass jar that is sitting over top of it.
Its existence.
Okay, so there
So you know what?
it
Yeah.
is it is entirely encased and yet still lit.
Interesting.
Hey, can I lift the covering on it?
Yeah. Yes, you can. You lift the glass jar off, and when you do, you hear a hissing noise. Like the sizzling of the wick on a firework before it's going to explode.
Then I immediately like get as far away from it as I can.
Are you keeping the bow jar in your hand?
No, I'll drop that.
You drop it. Make a dex check for me.
Dexterity saving or just straight up?
Just a check. Just a check.
Okay.
You can do sleight of hand if that works better for you, but
Yeah. 16.
16. You drop it, and then at the last second, it occurs to you that whoa, you catch it so that it doesn't smash on the ground and make a noise. And then just sort of place it on the ground. And then you move, step back immediately, get back far away from the candle. And you just kind of hear this like it kind of cuts in and out. It's almost like TV static.
It's a little alarming.
But like nothing else seems to be changing about it.
No.
Okay. I'll kind of look and be like, what the? And I'll like do a quick like look down where I came from, and then reach over and go to like extinguish the flame.
You reach out and touch faith. You reach out and extinguish the flame. When you do, you immediately feel yourself fall over. You collapse into a floor that isn't there. You twist and rotate through space. I need you to roll a D100.
Oh no. That's never good.
Please do this as carefully as you can.
I don't like that sentence.
Okay.
That's
Give
like
me
very
1 second.
alarming. Don't tell me that.
I'm calling in assistance. 1 second. No, I just need your help with something. It's relatively urgent. Okay. You need to choose one of these 4 sets of dice. Haha, very funny. And then off camera, I'm gonna have you roll.
And also
So,
just
it needs to be a D100.
It needs to be a D100. So which set? The purple, this one, or this one? Okay. Okay. D100.
20.
It's a 20. Thanks.
This one, not to worry you, I got to get the PowerPoint open for this one.
Oh no.
I need to check something in my notes here to make sure that the thing is correct. Yeah, that would be that. That would be right. I need to grab. Where are you at? There he is. Okay. You extinguish the candle. Tumbling into darkness. But when your eyes reopen, you see before you a child playing in a field. Long, tall weaves of brown grass. The child is running, chasing after another small child, a young girl. In the distance, you hear somebody call out for them. It's time for dinner. Come back inside. The children, giggling excitedly, run in the direction of the voice. You blink. A young boy, about 15 or 16 years old, sits neck deep in academia, head down, looking at the desk, scribbling feverishly into a scroll, surrounded on all sides by other students at their desks, as a professor watches from the front. You blink. The young boy is now a young man. He is hunched over a table with multiple other figures. You see an incredibly aged-looking dwarf, huge beard that is almost fully gray. You see there is a woman standing right beside him, incredibly tall. She has this pinkish, purplish skin, like a violet-like skin. Long, silvery hair that's pulled back into a tight bun. And she rests a hand on the dwarf's shoulder. There's another man at this meeting, tall, thin, bit of like a jet black beard going on that matches his hair that's sort of coiffed back. Very strong eyebrows, bit of a darker complexion to him. He looks, it's hard to even concentrate, but he almost looks like Dak if you were like much older. And there is this young man bringing over a selection of books in a stack over to the table, setting them down. He's saying something to the dwarf. They're communicating, but you can't make out the words at all. There's a feverish look in everyone's eyes. They appear as if they've been there for quite some time. You blink. The young man has gotten older. He's grown a beard of his own. And it is a bit patchy. He's holding a knife, crouched in a corner. Across from him, on the other side of a room, another man, bent down on one knee, a dagger at his side, a finger up to the mouth. Both of them are waiting for something. The young man shivers. From the cold or from fear, you don't know. The man across from him. Something about that man triggers a deep memory within you. Something that has been hidden by time, will, and possibly magic. But you know that man's face. You blink. The young man is older now, older still. The beard is gone. The face is a bit more sunken. He stands on a beach. In the sand, a trail of blood leads away from him. You blink again. The man is attending to a garden. You can't tell where the location is, but he tends to the garden. Root vegetables. Pull some out. Place them in a basket. He looks off in the distance. You hear a call. He's something that no one else to see. And suddenly, he grabs at his heart. His knees hit the ground. He looks towards this thing. Filled with fear, face taut expression. He collapsed forward. And then he is silent. Moves no more. You move to look in the distance, see what it was looking at. Am I losing you?
I think Discord's dying.
Yeah, I'm pain's terrible.
Oh dear, yeah.
I'm seeing that too. It's beginning to die on mine.
2,500, 2,500 millisecond ping.
Yeah.
Oh Lord. Discord.
Oh, is this on one's end? Okay.
Yeah, I think it's a Discord problem.
Oh, there. I think it came back.
So I'm
it's back.
now.
I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're good.
We good?
Yeah,
that was a little bit bizarre.
Double check where that started.
Where did I lose y'all? Because I was really in that.
The garden.
After the like pulling like the root vegetables from the garden is where it started.
That's not too far back. That's not too far back. Okay. So yes, the man was pulling root vegetables. He's putting them into a basket. He hears the sound of a crow calling, looks off in the distance. He sees something you cannot see. His face filled with fear. Suddenly, he clutches at his heart. His expression changes. He falls to his knees. Still looking at something out in the distance. The face taut. Beads of sweat forming. He collapses forward. Falls to the ground and is still. Unmoving. Silent. And you manage somehow to follow the direction of his eyesight off to the distance. And you can see on a hill, a rolling hill, there's a figure, a silhouette. You can just make it out on the horizon. The deer turns and looks your way. Your eyes blink again, and you are back in the maze. You're laying on the ground. The candle is laid down on the ground as well. Wax spilling out from it, the flame extinguished, and you can hear the bellow of the Gorgon in the distance approaching.
And the Gorgon is right behind you.
You above game. Well, sorry, let me explain this correctly. In game, you snuffed out this candle.
Mm-hmm.
True.
This is not a normal candle, as I'm sure you've picked up on.
It's
Yeah.
someone's like life.
Above
Be
game,
funny.
you snuffed out the life of one of the characters that I was going to introduce in this campaign.
Cool.
Well, rip Bozo.
Goodbye. Goodbye, per character.
It was an interesting character,
They're gone
but
now.
this candle has very specific rules. And when you snuff it out, you also snuff out someone's life.
Oh.
And that is the life that was chosen. So thank you, McKenna. I will work that out in the future, but for now, you don't get, in the aftermath of this really strange experience, you don't get the identification. You don't know who that was that you just experienced their life.
Yeah.
You just know that you snuffing out the candle ended their life. And that's all you know. That's all you have to kind of hold on to.
Gotcha. In the reeling aftermath of that, feeling just terribly guilty about that, Set will get up, grab the candle, and put it in their bag.
Okay.
And continue on the path.
All right. That's going to be a custom item. This is not something that's going to be in D&D Beyond.
Okay.
Because I made this back in 2020.
Jesus.
So I'll have to make a note here. Do I want to tell you what the candle is, or have you tried to identify it in game? You guys want to know what the candle's called?
Sure.
Yes.
Okay. So I'll have to add it to your inventory later.
Okay.
But this is the candle of our Thane's reaping.
Arthane's reaping.
Okay.
Mechanically, it is very simple. You light the candle. You benefit someone in a way that you are not aware of yet. When you extinguish the candle, you roll a d100, and whatever number you roll correlates to a person in the world of Dragonmark Symphony who dies.
Jesus.
Oh my God.
I am a crazy person. There are major characters on this D100 list.
Damn.
Caspian, no.
Each of us.
Yeah.
Including each of you. You were playing, it includes each of you.
No, I
Fuck.
wasn't really. I feel like what is not to expect there.
Mm-hmm.
Why make
So
a
that
list
that
like
could have
that if we're
been
not going to
any
be on
of
it?
us.
That
could've
could
been
have been
Jack.
it. You could have.
Imagine
You could
telling
have.
Jack.
Yeah, you could have rolled the right number, and then I would have had to
Hey.
send a message to Franny or to Jade and been like, "Hey, guess what?"
Hey, so whenever you do
Set
come back,
just destroyed your
starting over, by the
character.
way.
Fuck. Okay.
We're gonna leave your turn there.
Yeah.
We're going to go to Johannes.
That's me.
That's you. It's you, baby.
So I'm just like over at the table away from where we originally were. Not the crystal ball. Silva, I can't really help you with any of this arcane. Not really my forte. Victoria, do you think I can do anything? Can I help the communication or
How
can I, like, throw
familiar are you
incense
with
around, or?
how familiar are you with magical creatures?
I
The most
read some,
witch-like I've been able to
some
feel,
books
and I love it.
when I was a kid. Not a lot though.
Okay.
There's like those cows. They're,
Yeah. So I think again, I don't know for sure, but I think there's probably a Gorgon that is going to be trying to chase Set down and turn them into stone forever.
okay.
No need to panic. But if we can figure out like a weakness, something that Set can use against the Gorgon, that will stop it in his tracks.
And we have no idea. Do you have any? Can I go look? I'm gonna go look at the bookshelf. Maybe.
Yeah. If you can check my bookshelves.
Yeah.
Collect my pages. Look out. There is
Is this
over there.
Spider-Man?
Okay. You remember that corner? Yeah. You remember that corner where we were chasing the hand down?
Yeah. With the.
Okay. Go back to that corner. There is a section up near the top of the shelf where I have books on enchanted creatures. There should be like multiple bestiaries. There's like field guides, things like that. If you search through that, you want to find guardian creatures specifically. Can you do that for me?
Guardian creatures. I can.
Guardian creatures.
All right. I'm gonna head over to the bookshelf.
All right, so you head over to the bookshelf. You see it there, enormous. It's like 10 feet high.
can't reach
You
the
can
top.
see the shelves, like the top 3 shelves at the top. You can actually make out right away one of the books on the spine of the book. It says something about dragons. And there's like another spine nearby it that's like fire horses. So you're like, okay, I got to be close. This has to be like the mystical creatures.
Okay. I'm a little short of stature. Could I make like a so just like a dex check to try to climb up on the shelves?
That's
without
gonna
knocking over?
be that would
Or,
be
acrobatics?
acrobatics. We're
Even
gonna say
better.
acrobatics on this to try to climb the shelf.
It's 24.
Very good. Y'all rolling good today.
Except for this is the very start, but
Don't worry about it. You skitter up the shelf, climb up there, and you start looking through, perusing. I'm going to need you to make a perception check for me to try to find this thing. Actually, no, sorry. It's going to be an investigation check because you're trying to seek out a very specific thing.
dang. That's a 2.
Great. Beautiful. Amazing. Show-stopping. You see the book on dragons.
Yeah.
You see the book on fire horses. You see a book on unbelievably large canines. There is a book called Fossils Are Your Friend. next to that, there is another book that is in a language that you do not comprehend at all. And then there is like a little thin book. You can barely read the spine, but the spine says like Monster Mazes coloring book for 5-year-olds.
I'm going to do that one.
Okay, so you pull that out. And it's this really thin book, and there's like a goofy drawing of like a cartoonish beholder on the front. You pull that out, you open it up, start flipping through it, and there's a bunch of like mazes. It's like when you go to like a Bob Evans or something, and they've got like the tablecloth or like the placemat that has like the maze that you can draw through.
Crayon,
So you can see that there's several mazes in here, and a lot of them have already had somebody take a crayon and like go through and solve them.
Bummer.
So you start like flipping through, trying to find, and then you find one that's like this enormous maze, and it's a square. There's like a picture of like a chibi, like cartoony, like bowl, but it's like gray, and it's got like little tentacles coming out of its mouth, but it's got like googly eyes too. And there's like a little speech bubble coming from the bowl that says, "I'm scared of heights."
Victoria, I found the weakness.
What is it? What was it?
Heights, falling.
Valid. Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess we'll convey that to them. I don't know how many steep cliffs or like bottomless pits there are going to be in the maze.
There has to be something. It seems Silva, like there is right here.
Silva, try to communicate. Try to like reach out for Set again, like you were talking to them before. Let them know that the Gorgon is afraid of heights.
All right.
I bet.
The heights? Like, I yelled that out. Do we have to shake the hand again?
You can go back and shake the hand if you want to, but it's currently on the crystal ball.
Yeah,
it's being used by Silva.
Well, we might have to wait then to commune that to Set. It seemed like the only way we could talk to him is through that hand.
Is there anything else you want to try to do on your turn?
I'm gonna also grab that book in the foreign language and just like toss it on the floor and then head back down.
Okay.
That's all I want to do though.
Yep, you pull it out, toss it down to the floor, make your way back down to the bookcase. Back in the world of the maze. Set.
Mm-hmm.
You've taken the candle. You have acquired it. You only have the only path you really have forward would be going to the right, but you do hear once again the bellowing roar of the Gorgon off in the distance.
It's from behind me, right?
Yes, a good ways behind you, it seems like. Silva, back to you. You are fully focused, monitoring the crystal ball, focusing on that, trying to maintain the connection with the spirits, and then you suddenly hear shouting off in your peripheral as Victoria and Johannes just kind of start yelling at you about something about heights and like trying to get your attention.
It's heights.
I was gonna say I got that part, I guess. Well, I mean, before I just been trying to talk through the particle board. I don't remember what you keep calling it. Keep forgetting.
The partaker.
It's the part. Thank you. Thank you.
Partaker. I was close with particle board.
It could be made a particle board for all you know. Yeah. It's,
but no, I'd be like, I'll just kind of title in there like this whole bit. It's just kind of like reach in there like the Gorgon's afraid of heights.
all right. Make an arcane check for me.
Not gonna be good. I'll tell you that right now.
Just got to be good enough.
It's gonna be an 8.
Set.
Yes.
Deep within the
Rolled over
maze.
just a little bit. That would have been a 20, but here we are.
Deep within the maze, you hear somebody calling out in the distance. I need you, since Silva rolled that low, I'm going to need you to make a perception check to try to decipher what you just heard.
15.
Okay. You, with your finely tuned ears, you pick up on, and you're able to kind of make out the words. It's somebody's calling out to you with Silva's voice and saying, "The Gorgon is afraid of heights."
Okay. What the fuck am I supposed to do with that information? And you just store it in the back of my mind and just keep going.
Silva, was there anything else that you want to do on your turn? Since all you really did there was just like use your voice.
Well, other than that, because inherently my realm of knowing how well any of that goes through is almost unknowledgeable.
Mm-hmm.
So, and a lot of this is really just hinging on that
That maze.
just finding its way through. Yeah, 'cause, like my big brain animate body part with last game don't really have a whole lot of extra things to look at. Nothing that I can put through. Into a spirit world.
We're-
There's something that would help him. A lot of them would hurt him.
Yeah.
It's always an option.
No.
How attached are you to set?
I cast Witch Bolt through the Ouija board to target. Yeah, that's man. I'm fresh out of some ideas right now. Best I could do would be to try to cast guidance through the Ouija board with the partaker, the particle board, whatever name you want to give it nowadays.
Yeah. If you want to go ahead and try casting guidance through the Ouija board, you can. It is a cantrip.
Why
It
not?
doesn't cost you nothing.
Not technically concentrating on anything else. Animate body part is not concentration, is a thing. All right.
All right.
The question is whether or not my connection through this Ouija board will work. So let's just kind of like tell me what I should roll.
Myth partaker.
Tell me what I should roll through this particle board.
Because you're trying to get some level of insight as to whether or not this is actually doing anything for Set on the other side, right?
Yeah, I mean, like I'm like thinking guidance and the spirit that I'm connected to him with this partaker.
Mm-hmm. Certainly.
So
you can go ahead and
essentially make the brainial attempt. You tell me if I need to roll anything.
No, yeah, to really like harness in on that and focus on it, that would require another Arcana check from you, because you're really pulling on your intelligence and your knowledge to
better this time.
Try to make this connection.
It's actually pretty good this time. It's a 19.
There you go. Okay, so yeah,
that plus 6 bonus finally coming into some fruition.
Yeah, you definitely like you try to channel as much of your energy into this as you can. Trying to like refocus everything. You just want to get something to Set, whatever it is, even if it's just a slight benefit, anything that you can get Set, anything you do to get them out of there as fast as possible. And you feel the energy kind of like travel down to your fingertips and into the crystal ball. Set on your end, you feel another like whoom of like energy that kind of washes over you briefly. So you have been successfully given guidance. And so the next time, or rather, yeah, so you can add a D4 roll to a future ability check here.
Gotcha. Cool.
All right. And with that, we're going to jump to Set, because candles in your possession, you could hear the Gorgon off in the distance. What do you want to do now? You still do not hear the ringing. The ringing, it seems like, has long since stopped.
Yeah. I'm just going to continue going. So long as the Gorgon isn't near me, I'm going to continue going. Now that it does sound farther away, I'm not going to be moving at as like frantic a pace.
Okay.
Just because, especially after the run-in with the pit that I almost fell into, going to be just a little more cautious before like rounding corners or anything like that.
Okay.
But yeah, just going to keep on going. Also, after describing the results of her roll to her, McKenna's reaction was, in all caps, "Jesus, Dylan."
It's about right. It's fair.
But yeah,
sure, she's over there like, thank God I'm not in a campaign with him anymore.
But yeah, so just continuing on.
Okay. You hit another fork. Path to go left and a path to go right. That's all you have to work with.
To the right.
All right. Because you have chosen to take a measured stance, you're like, I'm not going to go super quick. I'm going to sort of pace myself a little bit. You need to make another dexterity save for me, but this time you get to do it with advantage.
Okay, well, my first roll was a 19, which would make it a 27. And we're not even going to talk about the second roll. So the first one was a 19.
All right,
plus
excellent.
8, 27.
Round the corner, once again, another large bottomless pit that extends out into nothing but a sea of stars below. You suddenly hear the Gorgon roar much louder than it was previously. You don't know how, but suddenly you can hear it, and it's as if it is right behind you. It's your decision as to whether or not you want to turn around to look at it. But you hear something large, something heavy, back down the path, back behind you. To the right is this large pit, seemingly falls to nowhere. And to the left is another path. Looking down that path, you see that there is a doorway about 20 feet away.
Oh, there's a door over there?
There is a doorway. Seems to be about 20 feet down in that direction.
I mean, I'm going to go for the doorway.
You run into that path. Flip, your perspective changes. Fall forward a bit as the world kind of shifts up around you. Regain your footing. Look. You have two paths here. The one to the right, you can see that there's like a big square bottomless pit with a sea of stars down and below it. And the one to the left, about 20 feet down the path, there is a doorway.
Do I hear the Gorgon behind me?
Yes, getting louder and louder.
I will just be like, I hate space. How long is the pit?
The pit is about 6 or 7 feet long, it looks like. There is a small part of you, a small little part of your brain that wonders, can I jump that? Is this possible?
I will look behind me and see if I can see where the Gorgon's at.
You see at the far end of the path behind you, the Gorgon crawling at a horrifyingly accelerated pace.
Oh God.
Towards you, a mixture of hooves and hands that sort of extend out from underneath its torso like a millipede and just like fumble over each other as it rolls towards you.
That
Tentacles
disgusting.
leeching out from underneath the mouth. The eyes emerald green, flame protruding from them, and as you look back at the Gorgon makes eye contact with you.
I just wanted to make a quick look, like just to see where it was.
It only takes a second. You need to make a Constitution saving throw for me, and this is with disadvantage.
Yikes.
Okay. My advantage against disease wouldn't help me here, correct?
Disease, no.
Okay.
You did get guidance.
Yeah. Okay.
I like to forget that it actually is only one use because of how much you can just abuse it in Baldur's Gate.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Like every dialogue check.
Okay. So Constitution saving throw?
Constitution save.
That doesn't help me at all. And then plus a D4. That also doesn't. Fuck. 9.
What did you, out of curiosity, what did you get on the D4? Was it a 1?
Yeah.
Wow. Damn. That's cray. So
Yep, that's a 1.
you make eye contact for a millisecond with this thing.
The other one rolls a 4.
And you feel the like radiance of it upon you. This light that is trying to like reach into your soul to find something to petrify, to shift and turn into stone. But it doesn't find anything there. Not fast enough. And you wrench your eyes away and pull yourself back to look at the pit once again.
Yeah, I'm literally taking a couple steps back and taking a running jump.
Okay. The Gorgon bearing down upon you. The bellowing roar echoing through your ears. You have no other choice, it seems like. You take a step back, you run forward, getting as much speed as you can, and you push off and leap. This is going to be a acrobatics check.
$15.
I'm going to roll this so that everyone can see.
$16.
16. You leap, arms outstretched, legs tuck in under you, moving forward. You can see the edge. You're heading for it. You're heading straight for it. But then you feel a lurch in your stomach. I'm not quite there. I'm almost there, but I'm not quite there. You fall, smacking your chin on the edge of the pit. Arms snap out, grabbing on. You are most of the way into the pit, just barely hanging onto the ledge. What do you do?
If I can find any purchase, I'm just gonna like try and just pull myself up.
All right, you can try to pull yourself up. This is going to be a strength saving throw. And you have no advantage on this, no guidance,
No modifier.
no modifier. It is what it is on this one.
It is an 8.
Okay. You attempt to find any level of purchase. But the truth is that the ground ahead of you is smooth like a mirror, like glass, and you're trying to find a grip, and there's just none to be found. You feel your own weight is pulling you back down. The Gorgon behind you, roaring and lurching as it begins to rush forward to try to get at you, focused entirely on you. It doesn't see or acknowledge the pit, and it throws itself at you, and with a great fall tumbles forward down into the pit. A mess of hooves and arms and tentacles and iron and fire. You feel as one of its hands grasps onto the back of your armor and pulls, holding on to you. And you lose your grip and you are pulled down into the pit with this beast.
That's not good.
Can I do anything, or is that the end of my turn?
Johannes,
That's me.
it is your turn.
I'm holding a coloring book. Is that maze filled out in the coloring book? The one with the Gorgon?
It has been filled out.
Darn. Are there any markings on the maze?
Yeah.
Or there are?
So a path has been drawn through the maze in crayon already.
Okay.
That seem to find like some sort of space in the middle where it's supposed to go.
Okay.
And then there's these little like etched runes all around like the perimeter of the maze drawing.
Okay.
If
Can I
you want
read
to, you
them?
can try to make like a history check here to see if you recognize those runes.
It's a 19.
19. Nice.
Damn.
Very good. You have seen runes similar to this. They were on a treasure map.
Treasure map.
A treasure map.
Treasure map.
A treasure map.
A treasure map.
The
Am I
Rumblefish.
Was that like really long ago?
Pretty long ago.
That sounds like really long ago if I'm remembering right. Okay, I don't know what the runes mean or anything though, right?
Don't know.
Victoria, have you ever seen these in your studies before?
She's gonna peer at them. Damn it. She looks at them. It looks to be some sort of maze.
Yeah, I think it is a long shot, but it sounds similar to the maze that our friend's trapped in.
Well, it's
Oh,
already
okay.
filled out, right?
It seems like there's a way through, yeah.
So maybe we can communicate that to Set, and maybe
exactly
they can
what
follow
I'm
that
thinking.
path. Worth a shot.
And I recall these runes from a treasure map. Maybe that's this treasure that the Silver heard them talk about.
Oh, those are Dwarvish.
They're Dwarvish.
Yeah, those are Dwarvish runes.
Oh, I don't speak Dwarvish.
You know, it's good to have hobbies.
Do you speak Dwarvish?
No.
Oh. Well, I'll hold on to this coloring book, I guess. Silva, can we try to convey to Set to follow this path, potentially? I have no idea where a point of reference would be, but if we can find one. I'm gonna, like, spend my turn, like, looking at the maze map, or, like, the map, and, like, see if there's any, like, you know, iconography in the maze, so we can get like a point of view to like figure out where to go.
Absolutely. Make a I wish D&D had like a straight up like reading check.
That would be nice,
I
yeah.
feel like with the number of books in the world, it would be like a reading check should be like a thing. I'll just have you do a wisdom check in this case.
Wisdom check.
Yeah.
7?
Okay. There are parts of the maze where it's like scribbled out and there's like a black rectangle that somebody has like scribbled into like the path.
Black rectangle, okay.
The line that has been drawn to get to the center of the maze maneuvers past one of those. And then it kind of takes like a left and jumps over to a right, and then it hits a fork where there's a dead end one way, and then the other way there's one of those black rectangles that have been scribbled out. But beyond that, the person, whoever did this, they took the line, they drew it around that black rectangle, and then they kept going forward through the path. And they had it take a left, and a right, and it got them to the center of the maze.
So there's some sort of hole. And it looks like they have to go around the hole. Well, maybe it's a hole, I'm not sure. It's just a black rectangle. but they have to go around it somehow, or through it, and then left, left, right, and that should keep us okay. All right. I guess I'll just try to see if we can commune that to Set at all, but I think obviously he's got
necessarily
bigger
know
problems.
How, but
Yeah.
for the most part,
All right. With that, we're going to go back to Silva at the top of the initiative. Silva, you're continuing to focus on the crystal ball. You do feel your connection with the spirit that was telling you the tale has not been lost, but you do feel this like severing of another connection that you thought was there. And it sort of disappears. It's like a wire being cut. It sort of disappears from you. And you have to really concentrate and fight to try to gain it back. Make another Arcana check for me.
I love how I just like really randomly get make these rolls really poorly.
Y'all really started rolling poorly in the last hours.
Listen, man, it's like almost midnight here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's an 11.
Okay. It's above 10.
6
so
can
that
only carry you so far.
that's fair, but it's above 10, so that's really all we needed. You are able to imagine in your mind taking a wire that is broken and knotting the two ends of the wire together so that they're reconnected. And in doing so, you sort of push and you manage to reestablish that connection. It's it's still there. Wherever Set's at, there's still a connection there. There's something.
Okay, so with that, I mean, so remind me, is how's that going to help me convey this message?
Well, you can try speaking out as you did before,
Yeah. Well, right. Just from I'm more speaking, from the I was trying to diagram it. So remind me, Bennett, for Johannes, he said he needs to get over this chasm.
Yeah, it seems like they went around it, if that's what this drawing is conveying properly. And then
but they go down the path,
left, and then right.
So they're if they're at the hole, if they find this hole, one way or another, they make it to the other side of the hole.
Yes.
Then they go left, left, right.
Correct.
Okay. Now this I'm going to say this, and I have to be obviously careful the way I say this because I don't know right now, unless I heard Seth be like, no, through the board. I don't know that he's in the hole right now. So
just like Shinnok in Mortal Kombat 4, just like
so the women know where this is. I was gonna call it to say, like, that when you find a hole and you can get through it, if you can either find a way over or around it. Johannes, you said it was left, left, right, right?
Yep.
Yeah. You'll make you just need to make 2 lefts and a right, and you're there. And I'm gonna make my attempt then me see. Do I have? You know what? I'm gonna go for a similar thing again, but instead of it being a spell, I don't know. Is it better? Let me relook at my tails list for a second here. I was gonna say maybe I
Mhm.
just actually give him just normal inspiration. No. No. Okay. Well, you technically wouldn't see it, so that wouldn't help. There's one where I could get you to teleport to a place you could see, but you can't see it. Obviously, like this is somewhat of like an above board thing, but that's why I also
Yeah.
don't even answer these questions when I say them.
Yeah. Rhetorical.
Yes.
Thinking out loud.
Yes. Because obviously, yeah, I was gonna say this is from my like thought process of like just what are even things conceivably that I can think of that could be helpful.
Mhm.
And technically there is one thing so far. So I may just stick with normal. Because a lot of these are like combat or like combat. They're not combat buffs, but they're like particularly helpful if we are in a real combat situation. And as far as I know, you're not in that. Let's see. Nope, definitely don't want that. No. No. All right. So I'm just gonna have to do my normal, my standard. I'm just gonna just try to funnel through just a standard bardic inspiration through to set.
All right. Go ahead and roll for it.
Okay, that's a good one. That's 17 right here.
Nice, nice. All right. And you've relayed the message as well. You've stated, sort of the path that has been given to you.
That just through the talking line essentially that we've had.
Mhm. Yes, sort of this line of communication that seems to exist. Set.
Mm-hmm.
You lose your grip on the ledge.
Oh no.
You fall into a sea of stars. Galaxies spread out ahead of you. You see supernovas, black holes, entire universes off in the far distance, things that you have never had to comprehend before. The experience is overwhelming, and your eyes begin to droop shut. You can catch just in the corner of your eye the enormous flailing mass of the Gorgon as it tries desperately to move about in space, twisting and arching, floating farther and farther away from you. You faint. The eyes close. You see the young boy again. Standing in the field, looking at something off in the distance. There is hope etched across his face. Youthful innocence, excitement. You open your eyes. and you are laying on the ground, still in the maze. Face flat against the ground, arms out in front of you. An empty path ahead, with a branching point left and right. In your hand, clutched, wax melting onto your fingers, is the blue candle. I said before that to snuff out the candle is to snuff out a life. But I also told you that this is a candle of reaping. And to reap something is not just to take it, but to gather it, to collect it. And the life that you reaped was given to you. You are alive. And the candle clutched in your hand is illuminated once again.
Oh.
Fuck.
Next time, we
Blow
shall
it out.
see
Tell someone else.
what Set can do with the new life he has been given.
Again.
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 Feel like a
Oh,
cat
no,
at
he's
this
got a
point.
candle now. Oh, man. That lit.
Until then, thank you all for playing. Thank you all for watching. I've got nothing clever to say on this one. You're just going to have to see us next time. Bye.
Particle board.
Particle board.